Hi, everybody. Welcome to Community Conversations with Art Spark Texas. And I'm here today with our June Artist of the Month, Susie Angel, and also with our director, Celia, and our director of dance, Silva. And welcome. And we're going to be talking to Susie today. And Silva actually is going to do a lovely introduction, I promise. And we'll be interviewing Susie. And thank you so much, Susie, for joining us. I will add, Susie is a bit of a media star this month, besides being our Artist of the Month. And it was so cool to see you in the New York Times, baby. That was really great. And I really enjoyed reading that. And you really talked about some very important things.
Yeah, I excited about that.
Hey, my name is Silva Lakonen. Thank you, Susan, for introducing me. I am a middle-aged white woman. I'm wearing a black t-shirt and sitting in front of a white wall. And on my left side, you can see this wall hanging that has a gray, black, and white. I have a curly white hair, and I'm wearing a see-through glasses with a see-through rim. And I am here to talk with Susie today, who was our Artist of the Month. Welcome, Susie.
Thank you.
So excited to have you. I'm actually going to go back from our plan. Tell me about that New York City article, New York Times article.
Oh, it was about voter suppression and how our legislators are trying to make it harder for people with disabilities, low income, and people of color. How they're trying to make it harder for the groups to get out there and vote.
Okay, so it was the New York Times article was about voter suppression for people with disabilities, low income, and people of color, and how it is Congress is making it harder for these groups of people to go out and vote.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to introduce Susie a little bit better. So Susie is works at the Coalition for Texans with Disabilities. She's also a peer-to-peer support specialist at Imagine Art. She's very active in her church community. She's a huge disability rights advocate, an integral part of our Body Shift dance performance group, and has been in it since the beginning. Like I said in the blog post, you are one of those people that just, the more I have got to know you, the more I'm in awe of everything that you do. So, Susie, do you want to tell a little bit about yourself if there was something that I missed?
I'm one of those people who doesn't know how to say no to anybody that I need to do something that I would consider important. And a lot of times I get overwhelmed with everything I'm doing, but I still do it.
So Susie said that she's one of those people who cannot say no when asked to do something, especially when some things that are important for her. And she sometimes gets overwhelmed, but still she does it.
So can I just, Susie, are you also on the board of the Tilt Performance Group?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
So just one more thing that Susie is doing.
I also sit on the advisory board for safe and for a cancer group too.
You also sit in an advisory board for SAFE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Safe Alliance. Yep.
it's for people suffering from abuse.
For people from suffering from abuse.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know those two last ones. So here we go. Again, something new. So, but let's talk about your love towards dance, because that's what we are here. You're our artist of the month in our dance program. And like in the blog post, I wrote about how you, since you were a child, you had this dream about being a dancer, but you didn't feel like that was available for you because you had never seen anybody like you being on stage and dancing. So that thought was kind of forgotten, but then you were introduced to it again through Art Spark.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about your aha moment. So will you tell us about your very first aha moment?
I had during a theater performance that we did with actualized from the art spark did, and they had a guest choreographer who put together a get piece for the theater piece, and during it I fell and I got hurt, but I picked myself right back up, and then after the show was over, I told Allison what happened, and she said that, well, she welcomed me to the world again.
So when Susie was doing one of the theater, we used to have a theater program called Actual Lives that was doing theater performances. And they were doing this one performance where they had a choreographer in it as well. And in that performance, Susie was actually on her knees doing a dance. They were going in a circle and she fell, but got quickly up. And then talking with the choreographer, Allison, or afterwards, Allison told her that welcome to the dance world. And that was a big moment for Susie. And then from that point on, you actually ended up going to study dance at ACC at the Austin Community College, and then continued with us as well. Or then we became more bigger part, a more consistent part. Yeah. And then we were talking a little bit about the second aha moment was when we with the dance program before COVID used to have these intensives twice a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. And one of the intensives, we invited a choreographer, dancer, and a professor, Dr. Nina Martin, to come and teach us. And she taught us this method that she has created herself called Fussy Baby. Do you want to talk a little bit about that second aha moment with Fussy Baby?
Fussy Baby was really eye-opening thing because with it, you're supposed to lay on your back and let your body move in whatever way it wants to move. And you just let it go for as long as you want. And the first time I did it, we went for like 5 minutes or something like that. And at the end of the 5 minutes, my body like stopped moving. Period. Nothing was moving. And for me, with my cerebral palsy, that does not ever happen. So when I felt it, I was just like in awe because I never felt it. I never dreamed it could happen with me totally alert. Usually they have to sedate me in order to get me still, but oh, that is a great moment.
That was a great moment. So I actually ended up writing Susie's speaking in the chat. So if the chat is not available for you, let Celia or I know in the chat, and I can repeat otherwise too. Yeah, I remember we actually all sort of gathered around you and just witnessed this stillness that none of us had ever seen in your body. I mean, it was pretty remarkable moment.
It was a remarkable
And,
moment. Yeah.
and Nina had no idea that something could come out of her work like that.
Yeah, in fact, Nina was quite uncertain coming to teach us. We had to meet with her several times, and even just the morning of the workshop, because she was kind of nervous if her material was accessible and if her class was accessible, because she has never created any of these methods of dance in mind of with the focus of accessibility. She has just really worked the way she is interested in creating dance and dancing. And then she came, and then this happened, and she actually now tells me often how I have ruined her world, because she's
Now, she came up to me right after that weekend, after Susie revealed, and we all were watching. It was really remarkable, and Nina came out to me and she said, "Thank you for ruining my life." She said, "I had it all planned out what I was going to study, and now I have to study this." So yeah, it was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it was really amazing. And actually with Nina, we have continued that research with Susie and some other of our dancers with cerebral palsy. for several times, and Nina has presented this at Harvard, and she has now become part of the medical department in her university, and her life definitely changed. And I think yours too, a little bit, Susie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Susie, do you still do fussy baby at home? Some of the technique?
I used to, but I don't anymore because I have breast cancer in my brain, and I'm already moving around now because of the tumor. So if I add more movement to what I'm already having, it will be overload.
So did you put that in the chat, Silva?
Yeah, I'm finishing it.
Yeah. She said, yeah, she has breast cancer in her brain. Which I had never heard about before, but you hear about people having their, after breast cancer, having it return, but the same type of cancer returns in other parts of the body.
Right.
So that's what
it has the same genetic markers as what was in my breast.
Okay.
Originally.
So Susie, when we were talking about this, so you was it about a year ago you went through a brain surgery to remove that tumor, and
September 30th.
September 30th. So not quite a year ago. And then after that, you went to rehab, and I remember that it was during pandemic, and we were doing our classes online, and we had a dancing wheels from Cleveland, Ohio, teaching our virtual elements classes, ballet classes, and you actually joined us from the rehab. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, one day they were coming and they specialized in ballet. Of course, I had to be part of it because that was my dream. And so I told my therapist that it was going on and that I really would like to be part of it. So one of them actually came in on a Saturday to be there to make sure I didn't get hurt and to help me get in and out of my chair, because at that time that was difficult. But I did everything that they were doing on my knee. And this is like a couple weeks after brain surgery. And it's like blowing my therapist mine because I didn't have my balance all the way back, but I didn't care about that. I just did it anyway because being on my knees is what I know best, and I won't give that up for anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually that reminds me of that another aha moment that you were talking about in the blog was the one where you are performing on your knees and the rest of the dance performers are actually following your movements.
Yeah, in fact, that if I'm not mistaken, that was the last in performance on an in-person performance that we did, I think, before COVID hit.
Yeah, I think it was 2018,
2019.
2019.
Yeah,
It was the 2019 Austin Dance Festival.
but we did it then, and then we did it for Emily video
Video.
that she did, and that was the one that was right before COVID hit.
So describe a little bit what that thing of the performance was and how it felt for you.
Well, usually I have to interpret what other dancers are doing and do it the way I can do it in my body. But for this one, it was the complete opposite. I came up with the whole choreography, and some of it even felt like ballet to me, but everybody else had to interpret what they saw me doing and put it in their body. And just see what people came up with was very interesting, and I felt like it was more inclusive doing it that way.
Mm.
Not that it's not always inclusive, but I never got to feel that.
So this is actually really interesting because we haven't done that in like trying to honor your movement and trying to be, you know, not put you into position where you feel like we're imitating you, but for you this felt really powerful experience.
Yeah.
Is there some tips? What was it about that experience that you feel like it was actually powerful instead of degrading?
Well, first of all, don't say degrading because I don't think of it as degrading when I have to interpret other people. It's just a different feeling because in my everyday life, I have to conform to what everybody else does. And I gotta like my arms are plastic and so when I'm out in public I have to kind of tuck my arms in so they don't go all haywire and off and hit people. But when we did, especially if I'm doing the choreography, I could just let my body do whatever it feels comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things that is always good to check before asking somebody to imitate or put into that position, right?
Yeah.
For you it was very powerful experience and positive experience, but that doesn't always mean that it is for every dancer with cerebral palsy. So
Some people don't like seeing how people see them move.
yeah.
But I'm curious to see myself from somebody else's eyes.
Yeah, definitely. I love that group dance. It's actually on our YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen it, now I'm planking on the name of the piece. Susie or Celia, do you remember?
The one that was filmed in the library.
No. Well, it's also in that one, but that's not on our YouTube yet. The Austin Dance Festival live documenting. You can see it on our YouTube live, and you can see Susie doing her dance.
Yeah, I don't something and roll, walk and roll.
No,
that was the year before.
That was with Tanya, Juan, and Gary.
Yeah, Being Together. It's called Being Together.
Okay, well, because that's the one that was filmed in the library too. That's what they call that one.
Yeah, it's the same one, but I don't think that's on our YouTube channel yet, because
Okay.
that film is actually still going around in film festivals. So,
Okay.
but you can see her doing the dance in Being Together on our YouTube. So Susie, tell me a little bit about your next dances, the dances that you haven't done yet, the dreams that you have.
Until now, well, until recently, I haven't done much choreography of my own work, but after I had my surgery and they were doing follow-up tests, they were doing a CAT scan, and the doctor didn't give them orders to give me anesthesia, so I had to lay on a table, which I am petrified of doing.
Which I'm
Petrified.
terrified doing.
Petrified.
Petrified of lying on a table, right?
Yeah.
Especially a narrow table.
Yeah.
And they did their best to make me feel secure, and then they just went with what they
Somebody came home.
yeah, they just went with what they could get. And during the time, I had a aha moment about my own disability, because I'm always telling people my mind is somewhat separated from my body, and they do two different things, but that's difficult for people to get. So as I'm laying on the table, somehow I got into a really quiet state, kind of like I did with Nina and Fussy Baby. And it was frightening because all of a sudden, but I could hear my brain go, oh no, was not moving. This isn't right. And my hand and arm tried to pop up, and there is nothing I could do to get him to come back down. But it was just weird because I felt what my body was doing, and then I heard the whole conversation in my head, and I wasn't thinking it. It was my head thinking it. So it was like I was listening to a conversation between my mind and my body. And I was in on it. So I want to recreate that moment as like a movement piece. And I want different voices to play my body and my mind, because I think if people really got to see it and hear what I felt, it would really explain my disability to people.
So we're gonna create a solo with different sounds talking about your experiences.
So Susie, one of the things, I'm going to butt in here for a second because I have a question. One of the things that we haven't talked about is your involvement with Heidi Lasky's On Display. And this story just made me wonder, because that is all about being still
Yeah.
and being, I am here now. So I was wondering if you felt that the work that you've done with the Heidi Lasky dance meditation was also involved in some way with what happened with you on the CAT scan table.
It could have been, because there are moments during Heidi's performances, and if you don't know what these are, it's where you act as a statue and you try and keep a pose throughout the whole performance, but you can move a little bit as long as people can't tell you moving. So there are times that I do get quiet during those. And yeah, it was like that. But to do it on a table that I'm afraid of falling off and being on a foundation, whether it's in my chair or on the floor, they're completely different.
And is that partly because of the fear?
Yeah,
The fear was a presence that is not in the other pieces.
yeah.
So if anybody else has questions, by the way, feel free to ask them from Susie as well. So Susie, you have this dream about making this. It sounds like the experience was very profound, and you said it was the first time that you felt this way.
Well, it's the first time that I actually heard my body communicate with my mind and vice versa. Because I'm always telling people that my body does the opposite of what the mind wants it to do. But I never actually heard the conversation take place. That like blew my mind. I came home and I immediately called Tanya Wheeler, who is one of our other vice hipsters. And I had to tell her it was just too mind blowing to keep to myself.
That is really, I mean, I've seen this when Tanya does this thing where she tells her body like aloud, like take a step. But I also never heard that kind of experience being explained, that you kind of, you feel like you're looking at yourself having this conversation.
Yeah, well, what you're explaining with her telling her body to move, I do that too. But in this moment, like I said, I had no part in the conversation. It was like I was just sitting there listening. And it was so weird. So weird.
Hey, Boy here. Susie, I love that story. I heard you tell it before, and it makes me think about, you know, a lot of the esoteric spiritual traditions, including yours, you know, where you're not your soul. You mean you're not your body and you're not your mind, and your soul was watching. You know, you were experiencing your I-ness, the
Yeah.
I-ness of you. And that because you didn't have a task to do, and you were basically, it was like you were a human being, not a human doing in that moment. And so you had time to be present to that conversation that's there the whole time, you know. And I was also thinking about that as a beautiful song, and it's from, I think it's the Bible actually. The line is, be still, and know that I am. And I thought that is so perfect an example of bearing witness that the I am, whether it's the big I am or your I am, know it, that I'm here, even
Hey,
when I'm in the midst of everything else.
hey, maybe you just named my piece for me.
Maybe, I mean, if you're whichever one's got the snottiest attitude has an English accent, right?
Oh, you said maybe a boy can be in your piece?
I think she said
No.
name it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you know, a boy ever the actress is like, yeah, I'll be in it.
So Susie, you also mentioned this idea in the blog post that how the world has changed, and you feel like maybe more often people see you as Susie Angel rather than your disability. Will you talk a little bit about that?
When I first started dating with Russian people, saw me doing it, they always thought I was struggling to do what I was doing, and they would turn it into a inspirational thing about how I was still doing it, even though it was a struggle. But the more we do it, the more people come to realize that it's not a struggle. That's just the way I move, and the way I move can be considered beautiful if you take away that beginning idea and just focus on what's going on. You can see a real powerful thing going on. And I love that idea because I hate it when people think everything I do is hard, because it's not true. It's the way I was born, and it's the only way of moving I know how to do. So to me, it normal as could be.
Yeah. Say it, Susie. I think you just did say it. Yeah, there's that big part of that inspirational, just because you went there and did something aspect, but you feel like it's actually getting better.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know if you know the summer or sugar, but Dennis, who is the director of CTG, when he had me in the interview before he hired me, I brought up my painting with bicycle, and then he remembered seeing the show where me and Tanya did row your boat.
Yep.
And he was like, wow, if she can get up there and do that publicly, I need her on my team. I need to make this work. So, Bishop ultimately ended up helping me get my job.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of public performances outside Austin and all around places. And it
Well-
seems like it got some attention.
Well, that was another one that we did during actual life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we started doing dance as part of actual lives. And that was your first duet, right? You and
Yeah,
first duet.
me and Tiger choreographed the whole thing,
I remember.
and you, you and Chris were terrified of what this was gonna
Yeah,
look like.
we were a little terrified.
because we were not showing you what we were working on until we had it all put together. And for you and Chris, that was hard to do.
Yep. Yep. And I bought a lot of mats for you to rehearse on.
Yeah,
Yep. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
And you just performed in our very first piece that only had people with disabilities dancing at the latest Austin Dance Festival, and you guys actually got mentioned in the review of the Austin Dance Festival.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. That was fun. The three of you, Tanya and Juan.
One, yep.
So we keep on plowing forward and doing work, and hopefully soon be back together in person.
And it's funny because when my ship first started, we wanted mix of abilities in every show. We didn't want all disabilities, and we didn't want all able-bodied. But this time, when we did it, it was totally different because it was like we were showing the world that even though you got a disability, you are capable of choreographing a piece and performing it all on your own. We had a little bit of help from Veronica, who gave us feedback on what we were doing, but ultimately we did the whole thing. And it felt good.
Thank you, Susie. It is 1 minute to 8. I want to thank you for taking your hour of your evening to sharing more about your aha moments and your dreams and your thoughts. It's always lovely to hear those from you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for everybody who joined us.
Thank you, Susie, and thank you, Silva and Celia as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. That was so interesting. And I was visualizing what you were saying about the conversation, and I can kind of relate to that. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you unfold that. I wondered if you went home and wrote that conversation. That would be interesting.
I didn't because right now it's so hard for me to type with what's going on with my brain that I only do what I really have to do, and that kind of didn't make it into that category, but that's why I told a couple people here and there so they can help me when it comes time to put it together.
That's exciting. Well, if there's any way I could help, I'd love to be a part of that if I could, like with music or something.
I would like that.
I'd love it. Or even writing for you if you want to talk about it.
Yeah. I would love to get them on paper.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to lose the feeling I had.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Okay, Teal. I'm gonna rope you in once we start making this come true.
Oh, cool. I love that. I really would.
Do we have your email address?
Yeah, we know where to find Teal.
Here is the one I do peer-to-peer support with.
Oh, okay.
Well, and it's arts based. We hope to get to where we really are using the arts to express our lived experience. So, I mean, that could even be part of your work, I would think.
Yeah. Hey, Juan.
Yeah, awesome job, Susie.
Thank you, Jordan.
You're welcome.
All right, well, it's 8:02.
Everyone feel free to be dismissed.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you to our ArtSpark Texas funders, Texas Commission on the Arts, St. David's Foundation, Cultural Arts City of Austin Economic Development, Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, Austin Public Library, Donald D. Hamill Foundation.